Hey viewers, Walter here. Thought I'd do a little bit of a vlog today. Well viewers, I'm 78 years old. You'll notice I walk with a cane due to an accident I had. And I thought I'd do a little bit of a vlog today, something to talk about. And I was thinking back of all the times I've been injured in my lifetime. Had lots of injuries, and I could tell stories about each one of them. Some of them I have told stories. I think I'll promote my Pwalpar stories playlist in today's video, simply by telling another story to add to it. Now, I thought about listing all the accidents I've had in my lifetime, but being 78 years old, that would be a long video. I've been hurt so many times from falls and injuries of various sorts. It's a miracle that I'm even on this earth from some of the more serious accidents that I've had. Here a couple years ago I broke my hip, and most of my viewers know that. I fell and broke it, and that's why I walk with a limp now. I'm lucky I can walk at all. But I get around, I just can't do it without a limp. But I was thinking about, just telling a vlog or talking about all the various accidents. But I got in there and started making a list, and the list is so long it's ridiculous. So I'll just pick out one particular accident and talk about that. I'll take you back to Ocala, Florida, Brevard County. And I'm going to say 13. I believe I was just going into junior high school. I could have been 14, I don't know. I believe I was in Ocala Junior High School. Anyway, my brother and I were home one night. Both of our parents were working, and one of my stepsisters was there at the house with us. We lived on it was Orange Street back then. Now it's called Jasmine Street, right there in Ocala, Florida. And it was a dark summer evening. I think it must have been 8, 9 o'clock at night. It was dark outside, and Shirley, that was my sister, she said, "I need a pack of cigarettes. Will you boys go down to the filling station and get me a pack of," I don't remember what brand it was that she smoked. And I remember the price of the cigarettes at that fill-up station was 26 cents. By George, you won't buy a pack of cigarettes for that price these days. Anyway, she gives us some money. And we pretty well stayed barefooted when we were running up and down the neighborhood. Had cement sidewalks, and it wasn't like being out on dirt roads, but I've been barefooted many a time on dirt roads back when I was younger. So we went on down to the filling station. Being dark out there, we went together, me and my brother. Got down there to the Phillips filling station and bought her a pack of cigarettes, and we're coming back down the road. We get in a foot race. Who's going to get back to the house? We're from the gas station to the house was probably, let's see, I'd say 5 city blocks. You had to run down these various roads to get to the house. I don't remember the name of all the roads. Might have been Orange Street, and I believe it was Orange Street we were running down. Anyway, we were running down this sidewalk barefooted. All I got on is a pair of old sawed-off jeans and no t-shirt or nothing. I'm just running down just with my jeans on, barefooted. And My brother was outrunning me. You can't have that. I'm running trying to gain on him. I'm gaining on him. And he's got it in overdrive. He's outrunning me. He's going to beat me to the house. And in full, I might have told this story before, but I'm in full stride going to the next step. And after I've already gone into the stride, I see something on the sidewalk. And it's the bottom of a big old green Coke bottle. And it's been broke off. About that much of the bottle was standing up on the sidewalk like this, and it's got real jagged edges all the way around. It's just like a perfect booby trap. And my foot is headed right for it, and I see it about 1/10 of a second. I don't know if I could zoom in on my foot and you'd still see the scar. I got a scar that wide on my foot. But just as I had already took that last stride and there was no missing the Coke bottle, my mind is in overdrive and I'm thinking, this is going to hurt. So I relaxed my muscles just enough that when I hit it, it didn't cut all the way through my foot, but I landed on that Coke bottle and it stuck me right on up to the bone. It cut the ligaments that worked my big toe completely in two. They had to put staples or something in there, and I've had a stiff toe ever since I was 14 years old because of it. But I know I had to walk on crutches for at least 3 months before I could put my weight back on that foot. I remember going to school and traipsing around the neighborhood with a pair of crutches until I got downright proficient at propelling myself around on crutches. You ever been on crutches? There's an art to it. You can get darn right handy with them. But anyway, after I stepped on the Coke bottle, it gashed my foot wide open. The blood was squirting, and my brother had done gone. He was 50 yards ahead of me and disappeared into the dark. And the only reason I saw the bottle was a nearby street light was shining down on the sidewalk, and I knew what I had hit, and I was like an instant panic. I started screaming his name. Come back, come back. I'm hurt. And I guess he knew from the tone of my voice that I was hurt, and he came back. And he was the only one that knew I was out there hurt. If he had kept on going and run home, I'd have probably bled to death because I was gushing blood. And he come back laughing, I ran you. And I was basically crying. I was carrying on. Boy, it hurt like crazy. And he saw it. I was really hurt and blood was pouring out of me. So he piggybacked me. I held on around his shoulders and got me on his back. You know how you can pick somebody up by the legs and walk with them on your back. And he walks me a good block and a half or 2 blocks to get home. And Shirley, our sister, was there. She didn't have a car. So when he brought me in, they put rags on my foot trying to slow the bleeding down. She went across the street and got one of the neighbors that she didn't even know who it was. It was Mr. Rutherford, I believe it was, that took us to the hospital. They took me down there to the hospital in Melbourne and proceeded to sew my foot up. Unbeknownst to me, my brother had went around behind the hospital, climbed up on a dumpster and was watching the whole procedure, looking in through a window. It's the operating room or whatever room it was I was in. He said he watched the whole show while they were sticking needles in there to numb the pain and sewing it up. But I've had a stiff foot ever since then. But there's something, you know, you don't remember all the accidents you've had in your lifetime. Little cuts and bruises and bumps, and you remember things like broke arms. I've had that. Numerous accidents, and I thought I was going to list some of them. But you could tell a 10-hour story on all the accidents you've had in 78 years of living on this earth. But But I thought I'd share that story with you. That was the last time I ran down the street in the dark, barefooted. I still walk around the house here barefooted. A lot of people do. I think I slip on an old pair of bedroom slippers occasionally, but most of the carpets in this house is carpeted. I've been known to go out on the porch and walk around a little bit barefooted, but you won't catch a walker doing too much walking around barefooted. Not after an injury that leaves you on crutches for 2 or 3 months. I don't know. I'm sure many of my viewers out there could tell some fantastic stories about the times that you've been injured. But I thought I'd share that little story with you. I could tell times when I broke my arms, work injuries at work, broke my hip when I fell out here. I'm sure the list would be numerously long. But I'm going to put a link down in the description to my stories playlist. I haven't added any stories in some time to my playlist. This would be a good opportunity to add this story to the playlist. You might want to check out my playlist. We didn't do much today. Went down to the Subway sandwich shop and got us 2 foot-long ham hoagie type submarine sandwiches. That's what we had for dinner today. Tomorrow I think we're going to go out shopping to the grocery store and a few other places. But I'll just be, I had a call from the doctor today, and they changed my 3-week appointment coming back to the test for my cancer test that they're doing. They put it off a week and a half because of some problem at the lab, so we changed the appointment from September 11th to September 25th. And I said, well, that's fine. I'll come in on the 25th. Got the results back from my blood test, and I didn't see anything really abnormal about that. But just wanted to share some little story with you today. How many people have had some serious injuries? I mean, everybody in their lifetime has had injuries, but there's certain injuries you just never forget, and that's one that I'll always remember. I can include one more injury. We went to the circus and watched these acrobats walking across a tightrope. I think that's the same night that we saw a lady get injured when 2 elephants bumped into each other. The elephant picked up the woman by his trunk and just raised her up, and that's what was her act at the circus, was to be out there entertaining people riding on the elephant. But he turned around too quick and bumped heads with another elephant, and when he did, it hurt her leg and she was crying. And what had fascinated me the most about the trip to the circus was watching them people walk on that tightrope. And I said, I believe I could do that. My little old 13, 14-year-old brain was not really in gear. It should have dawned on me, Walter, you can get hurt doing that. Well, I went out there and tied a rope between 2 trees in their backyard. I only tied them about a foot off the ground. And I walked across that rope 2 or 3 times, about 15, 20 feet across there to the other side, just walking across. Well, I got this down pat. I can do this. There's only one problem. The rope ain't high enough. There I go, being dumb again. I raised that rope up by shinning up the tree to about 15, 20 feet off the ground, went over to the other tree and raised it up about 15 to 20 feet. Stretched that rope just as tight as I could get it. Got up in that tree and got my foot on the rope and started across. Look at me, I'm an acrobat. I can walk on this rope. Well, I didn't make it but about 3 feet before I fell off that rope. off 14 feet, landed on my shoulder, and broke my shoulder probably an inch below the shoulder blade right there. It was in the arm bone. Well, you can't put a cast in that location, so what do? They put a lead cast around my elbow, bend it like this, and put me in a sling. You gotta wear the cast on this part of your arm because it's holding the lead cast. But what it's doing is keeping your arm pulled down so it'll grow back straight. It seems like a dumb way to do it, but it worked. You can't put a cast on your underarm and expect the bone to really be supported. The cast has to be, so much up and down on each side of the break. And that was another time that I didn't use my noggin. And if you think about it, most accidents are caused by stupid decisions and not thinking straight. I know in my lifetime, after a lifetime of experience, staying out of accidents, you learn from experience, and you think, well, I'm mature enough to know that's going to hurt, so I'm not going to do that. Young people don't think about that. You're, what would be the term? You're invincible. There's nothing going to happen to you. You just made up your mind nothing's ever going to happen to you. But I got to thinking I'd make a list of the different accidents. And it can't be done. I've been hurt so many times it ain't funny. Accidents will happen. But you can prevent a lot of them by just using your noggin and thinking ahead. Am I going to get hurt? Is this going to feel bad when I get injured? I guess it took me a long time to get smart, but even when you get a little bit of intelligence, you can have an accident, especially when you get old and go to falling down stairs and stuff. It don't feel good. Somebody had an injury here the other day, and I can't remember who it was on YouTube. Anyway, I appreciate you listening to my little story today, and I'll put a link down in the description to my stories playlist. Might want to listen to my stories. Listen to the time that I jumped off the outhouse with a homemade parachute. Most of my stories involve some dumb thing that I've done, or sometimes some smart thing. Anyway, I appreciate you listening to me today. Y'all take care, and we'll catch you after a while. It's Pwalpar saying, y'all have a good day.